What's good? What's good? What's good? Let's close this one. Had to re-download it. How you doing? Perfect. We can get rid of the cam for now. Might be uneventful. Might have to wait until NASDAQ. All right, so we're going to be looking at FX pairs real quick. Come on, give me my template back. Let's go to the home page. Oh yeah, I gotta log back in. Oh yeah, I guess I should get my link out to my guys. What about get shareable link? Is that a thing? Trade ideas. All right. Well, I guess I should pull up this other portion of YouTube to address the chat real quick. Right, for the time being. Dashboard. Well, not analytics. That's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go Filo control room. That way I can at least have my what's it called? My comments right there. Couldn't think for a second there. Coffee's gotta kick in. Command S. Save that. So this is the first entry on gold. I believe it was last week right here, down in this area. Price shot up. Now price is coming back down to a breaker block imbalance combo, and I'm anticipating price is going to go from there. So I just called this limit order not too long ago in my chat. Price I expect to come down to 50% of this imbalance and then have a continuation, given that we have a bullish liquidity shift right here. So perfect. She is perfect. Okay. So let's look for some setups real quick. Or let me check on AUD and ZD, but we'll be looking for some setups for some shorts. 4H mainly. I'll be down to do some 1H stuff too, but 4H is where I kind of want to go. So this is a simulated trade. I also take these on my real accounts too, but I like to take these on the paper trading account just to document my group progress, and plus I'm in the middle of some back testing, so it's always use these types of accounts when I am back testing, because why risk real money when you're supposed to be back testing? So currently mine is like a little over 1/4% or something like that out of a possible 1% that I risked. Not a big deal. If price does stop me out, I am going to get another entry, which is fine. So my goal is 20% this month. I think after goals running, the first entry will be L3. All right, let's get started. Had to get some coffee in me. New Zealand dollar Swiss franc might be worth checking out. Usually have some pretty nice setups. New Zealand dollar Swiss franc is effectively gone from its POI. So there's a while ago the POI there. So unless we come back up to take out a high, I'm not really interested in the trade. So it's a no-go. Oh, real quick, let me look up AUD and ZD orders. AUD USD as well. I was looking at find AUD USD. So AUD USD is gone. It's not a setup that I like to look for. There is a breaker block here though, I will say. So we'll see what AUD USD kind of looks like in a second here. So let's go to the daily time frame and check out some things real quick. So AUD USD is on the 12th, today's the 11th. On the 12th, we did have a rejection of 0.66435. 0.66435. Which is right there. So that's 0.66435. You can see it's been traded through. We don't need a lot of markups here. You can see right here that price broke structure to the upside and violate the premise of this this bearish candle right here. So that would make that a breaker. And I'm gonna draw that in completely. It would be a daily breaker right here. Where is my daily breaker? Whatever. We can just go bearish breaker. Or yeah, that's a bearish breaker. We're currently rejecting off that bearish breaker right there. That's the 4 hour. We have an even more fine detailed breaker block right here. That's that same one, just more fine detailed. So it's a 4H breaker right there. And we have a rejection of 0.6435, which we've driven through. AUD USD also, liquidity wise, I'll look at that in a second here. We do have a majority of retailers actually buying this pair, which means we always try to trade against retailers. Part of my trading plan, and we have sell limits of 0.6653. So let's compare that to the level. 6653 would be about right here. So all of these central banks, in other words, Nomura, ING, Goldman Sachs, all these guys have limit orders at 0.6655 and down to 0.6652 for sell limits, and they also have buy limits at 0.6652, in which I do think that they'll be taking profit on those buy limits, those buy positions quite soon here. You'll see them start to kind of disappear. So I'm going to use this this breaker with some liquidity to get into the trade, and we're going to go daily buy stops. Zoom in, and then we got to find a target for my daily sell stops. So in other words, it took liquidity into this order block right here on the daily. We can draw that in as well. Right into that daily order block. I'm gonna put it over just a hair to make sure we have it right. So we have daily order block. One day, I like to pull this over in time a little bit so I can know where I'm at. So far we have a daily buy side liquidity take. We have, let me see if anyone's on here. Let's see. All right, so we have a buy side liquidity take. We have a buy side liquidity take right here. Price came up, took out these short-term highs right here. I would say even all the way up to here. So we can go ahead and just move this just a little bit. You gotta be precise when it comes to your trading. So we have a little bit of buy side liquidity right here, or a lot of it that was taken out, traded above the short-term highs, a daily bearish breaker, and then we drop down to the lower time frames real quick. And let me send this to the back real quick. In the back, so now I'm at this point where I'm in my trading where I specifically swing trade forex pairs. There's no day trading at all. I'm only day trading S&P, and Nasdaq and US 30. So I'm gonna pull this over, and you can see that daily sell stops we're taking. Where are they? The sell stops were taken right there, and liquidity was taken on both sides of the market. You got a swing high taken out up here, and down here you got a swing low. Get into the 4 hour, and we can clearly see what is going on here. Short position. I'd venture to guess that this after this candle close in 1 hour, that this order block is going to be respected. Right here, the current one that's forming, given the prime market terminal rejected level, and given the prime market terminal predicted level of 066435, given the breaker block context and confluence. And let me go pull this just below this high right here. It seems like they've come up and essentially respected this bearish order block inside of this breaker block right here. So we're going to draw that in real quick. Let's go draw order block, if I can just find it. Whatever, I'll make one real quick. OB, and then we're going to put that top right. Make that more specific. 4H OB. And we can turn that black, I believe, the actual color real quick. Oh yeah, I guess we should save that template, huh? Shouldn't we? And there it was right there. Just didn't see it. So we had the 4H order block right there, which is this bullish candle right here, right before the drop that took sell side down here, is responsible for that. So what I'm going to do is expect that to be respected and have a continuation from there, and just set and forget this, considering that we already have confirmation. So let me go down to the 1H just to double check my stuff. But we do have confident 1H confirmations. Pull out my kill zone here, my ICT kill zone, and right now we still have London forming, or overnight. This is London, and then blue is New York. So we still have on the 1H at least, we still have New York, London forming, and same here. But the kill zone stops right here, which is respecting this order block at least at 50%. So we had a couple of rejections. I do believe price will come back to this point right here. Let's turn this off for now. Price will come back to this point right here, which is this 4 hour order block, if it'll indulge me. Oh my gosh, it definitely is not going to indulge me. Let's try something. Perfect. Boom. So that's the order block that I do think too will come back to, and then we could do an aggressive entry, which is right at the top of the bottom of the order block. And I'm gonna pull this down to about 22 pips. I think that's reasonable. 22.5 pips, just behind that high, and we have a risk to reward ratio of maybe targeting this low right here. It's pretty immediate low. See what kind of RR that gives us. All right, so we have sell side liquidity. So Australian dollar is obviously going to be doing better than US dollar. We can go for a 1 to 4 here and call it a day. So 1 to 4 here, shorter trade, that's fine. And we will count on that. So I'll call that sell limit. Like I said, I don't see price coming back, considering we took some buy side here in this area. When this order block is, price came up and took the liquidity there, and then came and took liquidity on this side of the market. That's displacement, you know what I mean? So it's a swing high and swing low. There was a displacement higher and lower there. Technically speaking, at the time coming down, these lower highs, lower low, lower high, all these were major swing highs and swing lows, especially this wick as well. This wick took out that low, so we had liquidity taken swing highs, liquidity taken on the bottom, swing lows, and you can even count this one if you wanted to, and that's displacement. So that's showing that they don't have really anywhere else to go in reference to where they're wanting to go. So yeah, I feel like that's a good cushiony stop loss, about just right, and I can confidently call that, given all the context and confluence. 06655 is the latest limit order, so that's way down here is where they're selling that at. So 1 to 4, pretty easy. I can call this in a group and be confident about it. So we got sell, limit, and we're only gonna risk 1%. We turn these on. I'm gonna put these on my personal account too as well. Obviously, my funded accounts. I do have one master account connected to all the rest of my accounts. That way, I just have to trade one, and the rest reflects my performance for the month. And I do not count performance for the week. Weeks don't matter. Anybody can have a bad week, but you know what I mean. A bad month is a different thing. Command C at this price. It should be 4%. So let's try that again. Let's refresh that. Should be 4% gain overall. From here, we are going to risk 1% strictly, and that's my stop level, and that's my profit level. Perfect. So we have sell limit right there, and we'll call this in a group now. Just type this out before I even posted. So you can take these trades as well. I don't advise you to. I do lose on trades as well. Oops, that's the wrong one. I do lose on trades as well. It's just that I'm very picky about my trades overall, and I only take quality. So the odds of me continuously losing are very low, considering that I have a good trading strategy. AUD/USD buy limit. Give me one moment to type this. So I like to keep my risk below 5% in a week, below 4%. Really, 5% is being really very aggressive. 5% is like I took an extra trade that week because I didn't like how the week ended up 5% exposure. So for perspective, 22 pips at 94. So all right. Sign. And then this is going to be plus 94. All right, so we're going to copy and paste that and send that to the chat. Like I said, I do not advise taking this trade. Past profits do not indicate future gain. So this is just my analysis for what I am doing. Doesn't mean you have to do it. So real quick, I have to also mirror these on my real account too. But I'm back testing my limit orders again, and this is a perfect way to do them. And it's no different, but it's more of a confidence thing for me. You know what I mean? When I'm doing these trading this way, because back my limit orders just used to be on point, but they're really not anymore. So I had to figure out what I'm doing. So I'm being a bit more careful. We're gonna move this to swing limit orders. So, in reference to that level, 06655 is going to, and Morgan Stanley is in there too at 06654. a bunch of people at 06654 and 06655, so that's obviously a significant level. 06658 is another level that's going to be significant. So yeah, pretty excited about that. Footprint. Today's April 11th, and the time now is 8:01 in the morning. Zoom out a bit. Figure out. Let's change this to 1 hour and hit save settings. So at 3 a.m., there were orders at around 3 a.m. today. So real quick, your orders placed. We're gonna drop down to a lower time frame, or maybe I can zoom in. This is my first time using, well, not my first time, but like this is my first time using this tool, this footprint tool. So I'm still getting pretty used to it. I'm gonna drop down to the 5 minute and see if I can find something, the same kind of thing for 3 o'clock in the morning. A little far in. Now it's a little far out. This is the only thing that's bad about this, is that sometimes too far in, too far out. You know what I mean? Maybe if I take it off of auto move right here. So real quick, let me see something real quick. I'm going to volume. Let's use all here. No body for now. So took out that short-term high then. Buy side liquidity was taken up to here. We're experiencing some slight drawdown, which is fine. Still very minimal drawdown. I do expect lower prices, given all the context that I have from the area. 06658, let's just say, that's going to be where the highest limit order is for shorts here. Footprint. Where is 06658? So it's trying to find 06658 on here, but the footprint chart is a little hard to read because the orders that are sitting here, refresh the page, maybe it'll give me where price is currently at. Okay, let me. Oh, 6658 was right. Okay, let's see. I can only get to 06659, which is fine. 06658 is right here. I tried to zoom out a bit. And I don't see necessarily any orders at 06658. 1 minute chart. That's why it's on the 1 minute chart. Let's go to the 1 hour chart. So we're sitting at 06658 right now, and I'm trying to scoot over so I can see if there are any orders. Resting anywhere. Yeah, this is a very, very new tool, 24 hours old, I think. They just released this, so I'm just kind of experimenting with it, but let's continue. We'll do that another day. So we got 50 minutes left of this candle. I like to personally set and forget when I can. It takes out the worry from it. Move that out of the way. Other than that, I don't really see too many opportunities thus far. Australian dollar Swiss franc is a possibility, so we'll keep that open. Good possibility. Euro New Zealand dollar. Let's look at Euro New Zealand dollar. We don't have any predicted candles, but that's perfectly fine. So we're just now kind of coming up. We have taken off actually. Let me just double check to make sure I got that right. Coffee's still kicking in. It's funny. Do that at least once a few times a week at least. That's funny. Let's make sure everything's right. 065685. 065685. Good. 066853. 066853. Good. All right. Good catch. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna let that ride. I don't mind. Ouch. Jeez. Okay. I don't mind going for 4%, targeting that low. I also don't mind going for a longer RR if I wanted to, targeting this low here. I'm trying to only move this. So if I was to target this low, it would take probably like a month and a half, but we can go for a 1 to 21 and have a long-term trade going. Very long-term trade, actually. So that is not what we're doing, though. We are going to be going for a 1 to 4. It's very reasonable to think that this is going to come down. I don't like to have my swing trades more than a 1 to 10 if I can help it, unless I'm doing something super long-term. If I'm doing a 1 to 20, then it's very likely that I'm doing multiple entries, maybe 1 to 5, 1 to 7s a piece, and then I'm done after that with that pair. So keep on looking. Australian dollar Swiss francs on my watch list, because I see retailers are very much so buying this with bearish predicted candles. Odds is doing well right now compared to everybody else. I do not trade JPY pairs. This one will not be ready until like next week, so we keep going. It's too fast. So we keep going. We go up a little bit. Euro Swiss franc was on my list as well. Let me just double check that one, because I'm pretty sure I already did my markups for that one. Where is Euro Swiss franc? Here we go. Euro Swiss franc is currently. I did want to see Euro Swiss franc come up and take out that buy side. That was what was wrong with Euro Swiss franc, is that we took out the sell side here just recently on this low, and I would have loved for price to have come up and taken out that buy side as well up here, because for every major sell side take, there's gonna be a major buy side take. So you can see right on the major swing highs and swing lows, you can see price traded below that right there, and we got sell side liquidity. And now what's resting above here, right, is going to be buy side liquidity. So I expect them to come up at some point and take this high into this daily imbalance. And from there, we will gauge price action and allow that to happen. So until that does happen, I really don't care about the trade. You know, the trade practically doesn't exist. It's kind of like one of those things that if it develops, it's great, but we're going to keep an eye on it as the week progresses. Swing trades can be slow developing sometimes. Sometimes you don't get into them until Wednesday, Thursday. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather take 2 trades a week, at maybe 1 to 5, 1 to 7 a piece, 1 to 4 a piece, and be, let's just say you took 2 trades at 1 to 4 a piece, right? And on any given week, you're at least 1 for 2. So that's a 50% win rate at a 4% return, risking 1%. You had a potential of 8%, but you lost on one, so now you're going to have an overall of 3% once you won, right? Minus 1% from, you got to deduct your loss from your profit, so it's going to be minus 1%, which would equate you to 3%. So you really don't need that many trades a week. If you do that, let's just say you're 2 for 2 the first week, well, there's 8%. Now you're 1 for 2. There's another 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Now you're already at 11%, and all you got to do is take a few trades a week. It's really how you set up your trading, to be honest. Excuse me. So Euro Swiss franc is on the list for sure. I just wanted to see if it was ready. USD CAD won't be ready for a while. Euro Great British Pound. We can check that out. It's a good one to grab every once in a while when you can. Kind of an awkward pair, but that's okay. CAD Swiss franc is also should be on the list. Great British Pound Swiss franc, we're not have to be ready until next week. GBP USD likely will be ready. It seems like we have a bullish predicted candle there. So there's a few swing trade ideas. NZD USD won't be ready until about Wednesday. USD Swiss franc, I'm not really interested in, to be honest. And that's pretty much all I see in terms of what we're doing here. So Australian dollar Swiss franc, and I do like to always read my economic news about my pairs. For this one, it's been pretty much neutral, but I already know the fundamentals on this. Switzerland's currently fighting inflation and things like that. So We're gonna bet on fundamentals like we always do. Like we always do. Australian dollar Swiss franc. Let's go look at her and see if she is set up the way that I like it. Australian dollar Swiss franc. No, she's not. She's still in deep premium territory. We did have the buy side liquidity take here, as I expected a while back, but she did not quite make it up to any of the imbalance or anything up here, the order block or the imbalance. She did make it to the breaker, however. She did reject off the breaker, and then had continuation. So I will start incorporating breaker blocks a lot more into my strategy, because I've noticed that when, especially when I'm swing trading, I've noticed that they're really good for confluence and context. And like this right here, this whole down candle right here was a breaker block, and you can see what happened after the short-term high was taken. So whenever it doesn't make it up to a bigger footprint, I can use a breaker block as well for a backup in order to still get into the trade, so long as the trade's still going in the direction. Because if I would have run a breaker block here when I saw the trade a while back, it would have been looked something like this. This is a daily breaker block already, and this is a 4H breaker block. It would have looked something like that, and I would have been able to get into the trade right here. So that's just an example of that. Let's go AUD USD real quick. There's one step that I did forget on AUD USD. I like to have this for confluence and context. Let's go to, I'm going to read that real quick and open it up in a new tab for AUD USD. And we're going to go custom here real quick. And scroll down, and I like to notate the levels. It's either short, so it's going to be, the most important level is going to be 070, 067. So where is 067 on AUD USD? 067 is right here. That's was already respected here. 067 also happens to be right at around about where a breaker block would start. And then obviously 070 is way up there. So this is 070 way up here. I already have a daily bearish breaker right here, or 1 day order block right here. And then I scroll down, and like I said, I just like to kind of compare the levels of prime market terminal. I would say 070 is just about 067. I mean, it's just about right around where the breaker is, and you can see it's rejecting, dropping, rejecting. So we have that confluence for the prime market terminal level, and we can just draw that in like this. Let's just say, for example, let's see if this is gonna work out. Maybe not. Let me improvise real quick. There's a tool over here that I like to use sometimes for this, but I just have to find it. I believe it's here. Tweet. It might be price note, but I could be wrong. It sure is price note. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna move this. It was 070, huh? Or 067, my bad, was the level. You can just notate that level. That's all I like to do with these, is notate that level. Sometimes I'll draw them in, but only for if they're lining up with like breaker blocks. So that's 06700. We can go prime market terminal level. Prime market terminal supply. So we can mark that up as just an area of interest for, in case we get stopped out. That's going to be the area of interest for a second entry, for a re-entry, my bad. If we do end up getting stopped out, I will look engaged to this level here instead, and look for the rejections and weakness here in confluence with the daily order block. So we're going to save that real quick as a template. Just save as. All right, so that's if we trade above these highs, which it's possible they're decently equal, but we did have that buy side liquidity take here on that high, like as mentioned, and on that low. So that's displacement. Really shouldn't have a problem continuing down from here, but I wouldn't be surprised if. Why is it still at a 121? That's weird. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Where's my TP? TP for this trade was 065 685. Let's just fix this real quick. 5685. So yeah, that's a 1 to 4 right there. It's 4.19% exactly, and we're going to count on that to be a thing and close AUD USD other than the actual thingy. So AUD USD real quick. AUD USD languished in Q1 in a different price action marked the start of the Q2. Economists and Associate General expect AUD USD to remain below the 170 mark, the 0.70 mark. So 067 and 070 is up there. They expect it to stay below 070. So I'm kind of in the same good range. RBA policy kept policy rates on hold. The RBA kept rates unchanged as expected, but wild swings on U.S. bond yields and the mixed start to April for Chinese assets and industrial metals do not inspire confidence for sustained return of AUD USD over 0.70 in the short term. So Australia is affected by China's economy, some negative Chinese news and Chinese performance on their Chinese assets like industrial metals. The next signpost for odd, besides U.S. bond yields and Chinese data, is the statement of monetary policy and updated macro forecast on May 5th. This follows the next rate meeting on May 2nd. So they're saying significant dates, May 5th, May 2nd. You should note those down as to what events are going to happen. You'll be looking for your macros for this, smaller kind of factors that would add up together to affect the pair on May 5th. And you have a rate hike meeting next month on the 2nd. And I'd be really interested to see, considering that they this past meeting about earlier last week, they paused rate hikes. So it's going to be interesting to see how their economy responds. In February, the RBA revised up wage growth for its year up to 4.2% and core inflation to 4.3%. The growth forecast this year is revised up to 1.6%. So they expect positive growth forecasts for 1.6% for the odd this year. Australia. The last meeting will be released on April 18th. The level of unanimity or discord around the April pause will give a better indication of the likelihood the rates have peaked. So if rates have peaked, it's going to be a positive thing for them. It just means that they don't have to keep doing rate hikes. They have a lot more softer landing than the United States dollar. So without the U.S., so I'll bookmark that for future reference on AUD USD as like the latest article. And we'll continue on. Let's look at Australian dollar Swiss franc. Almost at 3.87% drawdown, or 0.38% drawdown, I would say, not 3.87. 0.38% drawdown on this. Entry was right here. We had about a candle and a half, but this is showing some weakness. I do expect price to drop from here and go from there. So we will see. Australian dollar Swiss franc, where are you at? You're right here, nowhere near ready. So unless that retraces up, I am good on that pair. She's kind of taken off already. We're also deep in discount territory, which is where I don't want to sell. So for now, we'll chill out on that and see if she's ready by the end of the week or something like that. GBP USD. GBP USD, we can check out real quick. I like to Tuesday, Wednesday, I like to see if anything is actually set up. Swing trading can be a little slow. Remove all the drawings real quick and start this over. So GBP USD, I do like to read somewhat. So we had a positive article, or two of them in a row, really, for FX Street. I will be quickly reading them both, so I'll open them both up real quick. I like to see if they're basically saying the same thing, similar things. All bogus. I don't know why this is not intended for people in the United States for dailyfx.com. But that's fine. Just know that if you live in the United States, you cannot use dailyfx.com for some reason. So we'll close that and go just use this article. That's fine. That's it must be a new rule. It must be something regulatory or just I don't know. I don't know. That's fine. I'll keep just plenty of other sources. This is FX Street, which is a source that I gave you guys. GBP USD rebounds firmly from earlier week low, right? The US and the earlier week low is from that positive US. Well, it wasn't positive, but they had some positive reports coming out last week. The US dollar fell. The pair is set to enjoy further gains. Economists at Scotiabank report. Bull trend persists. Solid short-term gains for cable given the intraday charts as a positive look. GBP USD gains through the low of 1.24 zone break, etc., etc. So not really too many actual economic fundamentals as to why this is buying, but Great British Pound. We'll try this one as well. We'll read this one as well real quick. They give me key levels to look at. What's my battery percent at? Not bad. I'll go and move into a more quiet space quick. Give me 10 seconds. All right. Got my charger and my 2 waters. Coffee. All right. Just a second, guys. I'm just taking a quick move. All right. Door's kind of heavy. All right, let me set my stuff down and we can resume again. Let's see if I can turn the brightness up. Actually, that's as high as we go for the MacBook. That's fine. It's bright enough. Damn, I got an appointment in 4 hours for my eye. Terrible. The U.S. currency moves. Dominated currency markets are moving Monday, especially with the European markets closed for holidays, and the dollar made further headway during the day. So that shows why they had the GBP USD has lost some gains. As the dollar posted gains, the pound dollar exchange rate dipped to lows below 123.50. The dollar was unstable the whole intraday, etc., etc. So you don't really. I mean, you can read off this. And you can read this. It's really good to read the entire thing. Interest rate expectations will remain important for currency markets, with markets at this stage expecting that the Bank of England, Federal Reserve, and ECB will all increase interest rates at the May policy meeting, right? So they expect them to raise policy meetings. Everybody in the Europe, UK area to raise policy rates in the May meeting. So this is all super important stuff as to where the pair is going and why, right? The British Retail Consortium reported that the UK sales on a like-for-like basis increased 4.9% for the year to March. Total sales increased 5.1% over the year from 5.2% previously. Given the increase in shop prices of 8.9% reported by the BRC, this implies that sales volume declined. Paul Martin, UK head of retail at KPMG, commented high street retail saw some limited growth across most categories in March, but consumers cut back on eating out, spending on home comforts, accessories, and furniture saw the biggest growth when people looking to entertainment at home instead. So people are wanting to kind of sit at home, it seems like, in the UK and not go out as much, in other words, and spend money. He added, as we enter April, rising utility costs, council tax, and mobile bills, coupled with frozen personal taxes and the withdrawal of energy bill support, will see consumers having a further cut on discretionary spending. Consumers will continue to take steps to reduce spend where they can, blah, blah, blah. Dollar unable to hold gains, and I can show you that in a second with the DXY indicator. The latest UK GDP data will be released on Thursday with expectation of marginal growth. So that's something that I'm going to look for on Thursday. I'm going to bookmark this article. That's something I'm going to look for on Thursday. Last time we looked, the Great British Pound GDP was positive 0.1%, and then they had a month-over-month growth of 0.6%, if I remember right. That's what that was last week. So positive stuff for the Great British Pound. Prior to that, this data that's come out, they were thinking that the Great British Pound was going to go into a really bad recession, kind of like the U.S. is, and also just be fighting all kinds of things like inflation. But it seems like the government has done a great job of fighting inflation and starting to get their economy turned around. So they have good energy when it comes to their own economy, and they're kind of killing it. According to the bank, right, we think the risk of a pause at the current 4.5% bank rate is underpriced, which means that they think that if they pause rate hikes now, that it's going to be too early. I'll just translate a little bit of finance for you. And that could result in inflation being more persistent and sticky if they don't continue to fight it, basically. All right. So that's those notes. We will have to kind of keep an eye on Thursday's data for the Great British Pound. But if we do end up getting into GBP USD, I expect GBP Great British Pound to have positive news. So dollar posted net gains in thin markets on Monday, but it was unable to hold that advance and retreated on Tuesday with underlying Fed expectations in a state of flux. According to MUFG, the scaling back of Fed rate cut expectations has provided a dollar lifeline, but it doubts the benefits will persist. So because we had a rate cut expectations, it benefited the dollar short term, but long term, probably in mid to end of Q3, I would say we will be short US dollar. So I always look at the long term because I'm a swing trader. Even if I'm intraday trading, I look at the long term. Like if I would have seen the US dollar gaining ground on the DXY, I would have taken the opportunity to sell some USD pairs for like some short term stuff. But long term, USD is short. Maybe I would have taken an opportunity to take some longs last week, but I don't like to trade day by day fundamentals. I like to trade overall long term fundamentals for the next 3 to 6 months that they're projecting and putting out. Sometimes I have to wait on data like certain policy, certain reports to come out and things like that Great British Pound report on Thursday. But other than that, to kind of get a gauge, you know what I mean? So it added strong underlying CPI is likely to be a catalyst for a change in market pricing for May and delay pricing for the start of rate cuts. So when I say pricing, that means that the things that they've done so far the market has not priced for. So if there's a bunch of negative news for the US dollar, it might have a delayed trade shock. So long story short, anything that the US dollar is doing that's kind of short term positive for the US dollar are going to be kind of like how you say they're not going to be really effective long term. The US dollar always has a short term spike and then they lose ground. So GBP USD pretty much set up perfect right here. It's traded above the short term high. But you can go real quick. You can go to DXY and see day time frame what's happening. Right. This is the day imbalance right here. This candle was low. This candle was high. Price came up. Boom. This is where we sold gold before here. I believe it was on this candle. One of these two candles, price came back up, filled the imbalance, and I waited for some more price action, and now we have price dropping. So, don't know why that's there. So this is my DXY analysis right here. I'm going out to the 4H, and we have that's why that was there. We have a 4H order block right here that was respected and pushed from given the imbalance. So we got 4H, turn that into 4H, and that's kind of what we have here. Obviously, we're chasing the lows at 101.422, and I do see them coming down to that level of the DXY, and then from there, DXY will come all the way down to 108.16 over time. So with all this big drop, I do expect to continue to trade gold until USD fundamentals are back positive. So GBP USD, we read a little bit of fundamentals about the trade. Applied DXY and the fact that the US dollar is overall long-term bearish, has been for quite some time, since March 7th, 23. Or is that May? That's March, my bad. March 7th, 23. So Let's go to GBP USD and scroll over. And we just look to find a long position, my bad, not a short position. So we have London right here. Where's GU? Where are you, GU? I will be getting you today. So we can move that up here and see, do some analysis real quick. Let's go to the daily time frame and start there. And we can find that predicted level and pair that with where the orders are actually being placed. So we have a low we have a bearish predicted candle, basically a rejection to have a continuation. You can obviously tell this is deep in discount territory. Here it is. We are going to tell this is in deep discount territory. So we have a low of 123.085, and we'll mark that up on the chart real quick. The daily, 123.085. Coordinates 0.85. So that's right there. And essentially what they were predicting was at 123.085. What is that 123.085? It's an order block. It's a daily order block. I'll be minimalist here. Actually, no, I won't. I lied. I will not be minimalist here today. Some days I feel like drawing in the boxes. Some days I don't. I think today I will. Because it's just, yeah, nah, that's fine. One day, we're going to bring this to front. Scoot that over. So 123.085, not quite reached yet today so far. I'm going to go to the 4H. I do see this daily order block, and I do see a bullish liquidity shift from the order block, and that's relative to the last structure break. Let's go look at some higher time frame buy side context, buy and sell side context for the trade. So far all price is done has traded above the short term highs right here, and that's daily buy stops. Daily buy stops right here. And normally, if you were short, this would be a good setup right here. You'd see daily trading above, swing highs here, and you would expect the daily to keep going short from this bullish order block or bearish order block right here in this area, right? But we are not short, so we will be targeting very likely these highs up here. So you can use that as a target if you wanted to. I'm kind of aggressively looking for swing trade opportunities because I want the month to be chill. Even though yesterday's trade was a banger, and I look for opportunities like that pretty much every day that I can. It's not realistic that those 1 to 9 opportunities are going to be literally every single day. I'd be the richest man in the world if I can just catch a 1 to 9 all of the time. I catch like 4 1 to 9s a week on the 5 minute and be done for the week. So we have that. So that being said, price came down, took out that buy side right here. Now this is your new bullish dealing range overall right here on the daily, and we have that prime market terminal predicted level confluence. So we're going out to the 4 hour after that, and we have now confluence for this big retracement that happened, or context with the daily buy side here for this retracement that happened, right? Daily buy stops taken out. After daily buy stops are taken out, daily sell stops need to be taken out, and that happened. Or sell stops in general need to be taken out, so that happened here. And I would venture to say that we have some sell side liquidity right here that was taken. All right, so far, and then we also had a bullish liquidity shift here when it traded above this actual lower high right here. So now I can go down and expect some type of retracement back down. I would venture to say that these are relatively equal highs right here, very much so. This wick right here and this wick, how it's getting ready to close in 18 minutes, relative equal high. So what I'll do is I'll draw this in. We got buy side liquidity. Command S, and we'll zoom out real quick. And I do not think, okay, we did violate that. That's fine. Doesn't matter how many highs I trade above. I just needed to trade above just one high, one short-term high. So far we had, oh yeah, this is what trade idea was as well. That's where my trade idea actually formed right here. And we had, what else we have here? We had a daily inbound or a 4-hour imbalance right here that was filled and respected. That's inside of that daily footprint as well. Daily order block. Move that over. So we have that happening there as well. 4H fair value gap. Turn that a yellow color maybe. We can hit send it back. Come on, bro. All right. So now usually at this point I'll find short-term lows and things like that, or strong lows and things like that that have been established, right? This is definitely a strong low that have been established. Sell side liquidity. Because liquidity was taken on both sides of the market. You had a swing high here and a swing low here. Price came up, took out the swing high and the swing low, and you had a continuation from there. So that's liquidity taken on both sides of the market. There is your strong low right there. Strong low should not be broken to the downside. This is the same thing. You had liquidity taken on its low, and then the price came up, took the high. That was the old, and then a different strong low, technically speaking. And then this became a strong low once you had that established, and now this is becoming a strong low. So let me go down to the 1 hour to break down the candles just a bit more for the swing high and the swing low. So yeah, displacement, pretty obvious displacement here. You had a swing low right here, major one, and a swing high right here, both taken. You could count this one to this one, but I like to count from here to here as one impulse move because it was all a part of the same move up. So you had bullish price action. Boom. That's all one impulse move, right? So swing low right here, swing high. Those were both taken out, so that would be displacement higher, displacement lower. Displacement lower and then displacement higher, and now we can expect a retracement down into some type of institutional footprint for the long. With that being said, I'm going to look to enter this on the 4H and the 4H only. But I need to be able to see some type of institutional footprint, like an imbalance inside of the dealing range, this new dealing range, right? So let's go find that out, right? Let's go find out what that is, where that is. Let's go back up to the 4 hour real quick. So if that is the case, then that means I need some type of imbalance or something on my lower time frame. Technically, there's an imbalance here. Let me look in a little deeper. There's an imbalance here between this candle's low and this candle's high, technically speaking. Do I like that imbalance? Yeah, it's okay. I would use it, but let's draw it in to see how she kind of wavers. Pull this over. How she favors. So that's the imbalance I was referring to. Might be worth using for an entry, but I need a little bit more context to this. So yeah, that imbalance was already pretty much respected and tapped into. Kind of no matter how you swing it. It does break down a little bit more, a little bit better once you drop down to 1H, but that's fine. Let's go down to the 15-minute and see something real quick. 15-minute bullish breaker right here. Yeah, so that did end up breaking down into like a more of an order block right here. Let's go to the 5-minute actually. It's gonna get a little hairy here because of the damn, this is a big impulse move up. That's fine. I can just use the 4H footprint that has already presented itself. I was just checking to see if there was any more footprints on the lower time frame. So we had so far, let me zoom out a little bit to make sure I'm not missing anything. Price take the liquidity here. I can draw in a little bit of buy side right here. Even though the daily buy stops are right there, the actual wick where the high formed, where it was taken out, it was technically right here. Let me make sure. So imbalance trading is interesting because you can't get it perfect. There's a 4H imbalance here. And let me make sure this is in line. It is. Okay, perfect. So yeah, 4H fair value gap here. I would turn that yellow just to kind of counter the blue. And I would count on that being filled right there, that 4H imbalance, because of the simple fact that we already took out a short-term low right here. And we already had displacement. So now I expect price to come back down, considering that there's no actual last down candle before the drop. It wouldn't make sense for me to try to highlight this entire big candle. So now I have to look for an imbalance on the 4 hour, which I have found a positive imbalance on the 4 hour. Let's see how the optimal trade entry fares with this. Let's go optimal trade entry. And what do you know? What do you know, right? Not a coincidence, Command Z. Not a coincidence that when drawing the optimal trade entry, it is literally right on the imbalance, 62%, which is one of my optimal trade entries. And that's directly below the equilibrium, which is what you want to see before the drop. So I am expecting some type of retracement back down here, long position from here. I am expecting some type of drop back down here. Let's go down to the 1H real quick just to see. Yeah, there's a pretty defined short-term low. It did come all the way down to this imbalance. So if I wanted to fine-tune this, I could down to that area on the 1H, but I am not going to do that today because I just don't. It's kind of a sloppy imbalance. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's kind of a little bit of a sloppy imbalance, but sometimes it be like that, and there's nothing you can do. So we do have that 62% level confluence. Also, we have regular premium discount fib. This is below that. I can put my stops confidently just below this low and call it a day. So let's go 123.085, huh? It's such an interesting thing because the DXY is currently bullish or bearish, my bad, as we saw. So GBP USD should be bullish right now, and I don't see it coming down to 123.085 in this case. 4 hour, considering the price action that we have, I would rather follow. Honestly, I would rather follow my trading plan, not miss a trade. See, we're at the 50% of that imbalance right there, which is where I want to be. Stops just behind that low, considering that I don't think that they're gonna come down. There's no last down candle before this liquidity take. I don't think they're gonna come back down and do that. So this would be classified as a strong low. We can do a 1 to 5 for this trade here. That's perfectly fine. So I would classify that as a strong low as well. It's been established because liquidity is taken on both sides of the market. So we have another strong low right here. And now I can feel pretty confident setting this limit order on GBP USD. Just double checking. Today's Tuesday. We do have some an EIU short-term energy outlook for the USD at noon. I expect that to be negative. Great British Pound just had medium impact. They had a positive mortgage rates and for March, which is more positive news. I do expect that once again to be negative, the high impact report for the USD. So what I will do is I will set the limit order here for a 1 to 5, and that'll be that. So we had trade idea here. We changed that color. I don't know why that keeps wanting to be not the color that I want it to go, but it is. Make it solid. Boom. So we have a 1 to 5, to make sure the daily liquidity is actually lining up with that. It sure is. It sure is, because it's definitely going to come all the way up here as well. So what I can do to make a little bit more sense of this is this. Just barely touching these wicks right here and daily buy stops. So we have a 4-hour time frame, and that kind of makes more sense now. The target makes more sense. We're targeting those daily highs right there, and we might even be able to pull off a 1 to 6. We sure can. Why not the extra gain? So that's, instead of a 1 to 5, it's a 1 to 6. GBP USD, I can feel quite confident about the fact that this is going to be continuing up from here, especially considering the displacement here on the 1H on the left here. And if you did not see that displacement, we had a short-term low and a short-term high, both taken. Displacement lower, displacement higher, imbalance fill, continuation. That's pretty much what I'm looking for this. It did say that it might come to 123.085. I personally do not believe that it will. I believe that the USD dollar, right now, we are pricing for that negative US dollar news. So I can feel confident calling this limit order and calling it really a day when it comes to FX swing trading, because we have a 1 to 6 here. We have another trade called, and we have a second entry on gold as well that is going to be, and that's enough exposed risk, to be honest. I could, stop for the week, kind of let my win rate even out and go from there. But once again, 1 to 6, and we'll set this real quick, and I'll also set this on my actual accounts too. Buy limit. I encourage you to do this. Whenever you are lacking confidence or anything like that, whenever you are lacking, or something's wrong with your trading, something happens, which happens, you know what I mean? Remember, it's 1% here, which happens, you know what I mean? Sometimes you will, I don't remember if I had to copy that. Sometimes you will have little bumps in the road where you're like, the thing that I was doing that was working isn't working so well anymore. And most of the time it's you. I'm not even gonna lie. With my experience, when I've been wrong, most of the time it's been me. So we got buy limit right here, and I can confidently call that buy limit because of the context and confluence that we have on this trade, as well as fundamental. So I'm gonna close this, and we're gonna go GBP USD real quick. Let me just type it here real quick. A little easier to copy and paste. GBP USD. And that's enough exposed risk to be honest. I could be done for the week, but I love to call some trades and then wait for the outcome of those trades. If I have a couple snipers in a row, then I'll continue to be aggressive for that week and call a few more swing trades before the week is too progresses too much. And then also I like to intraday trade too. So specific pairs. We got 48 pips. NASDAQ, SPX especially. NASDAQ, US30 I haven't been doing too much because there are people who oftentimes don't have the account size for US30. Let's see, we got, let me see, I think it was 48 pips, 48.4. Minus 48.4 pips. I like to put the pip count because there are people using lot size calculators and they need that. So profit, come and see that. And we got plus 295. So plus 295 pips for 48% risk. 48 pip risk, 48%. That's funny. I'm tired. Plus, I think it was like 295 pips. Yep, 295 pips. 295 pips. Now, I would like to see, are there any prime market terminal predictor levels that would be better context to this trade? I'm going to add a little bit more context to this trade so I can feel better about the trade. Not that I don't feel good about the trade. If I didn't, I would have never called it, but I need to also copy this to my actual account. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this trade. Essentially, you had displacement lower, displacement higher, imbalance within that dealing range, imbalance fill, continuation. Sometimes it's a sniper, and I barely have any drawdown at all. Sometimes we go all the way down here, and then we fly up. Sometimes I'm wrong. So all I do is follow my trading plan. Everything else is, the result is irrelevant. The result of my trade is irrelevant, to be honest. I just follow my trading plan. I don't care about the result of the trade because I know at the end of the day, if I'm 75, 65, 55 even, 85% accurate, my win rate is coming in, my big RRs are going to kick in. If I even lose 3 in a row and I win on a 1-6 like this on a swing trade, that's 3% profit. So I'm going for essentially a monthly goal with some intraday kind of squeezed in between here and there, like Monday's trade, who triggered for some but did not trigger for others. Definitely didn't trigger for me. So GBP USD, you can go limit orders right here. EuroCAD, let's make sure we're still online with EuroCAD, and I think that'll be it. CAD Swiss franc as well. So CAD Swiss franc is a weird pair for me. I'll go back to GBP USD in a second. So I've gotten some great news on CAD Swiss franc, but other times we do have continuous predicted candles through the 5th, 17th. So what we'll do is adjust this because we have nothing for that day, and we do have some sell side liquidity I was taken here. I don't know why that's so small. Oh, that's because it was literally taken there. Okay, that's fine. I just put this over here. It's more important liquidity take than the small one that I drew in. Yeah, here. And what I'm seeing here for CAD Swiss franc is the fact that they traded above this short-term high into this order block, and now are having a continuation from here. So what I expect here, we have a minute and 46 seconds left for this candle. What I do expect here for CAD Swiss franc, and I'm just might catch this on 1H, is and you can target the sell side right here. What I do expect for CAD Swiss franc, especially in terms of a swing trade, I might intraday trade this because I don't like the 4-hour setup. I might do a 1H little like short trade for 7% or something like that, 6 or 7% to be held for like 6 hours or something like that. So we had buy side liquidity take right here. Where is buy side liquidity? Here it is. That's not it. Buy side liquidity right here, taken into this order block right here. Considering that they did say that they were going to have major continuation from the points, the next couple of days, which are lower than this, that means we're going to have continuation from here as well, obviously, in order to get down there. So we have the 4H right there, and so far we have that set up. Price did come back into that territory. So price broke structure right here. This is the current dealing range right here. So let's do that. That is deep into a premium. The current imbalance and things like that are deep into a premium. So considering CAD Swiss franc, and let me real quick open up Discord. All right, so never mind. Don't want to set that up. The next candle has successfully started. So we do have a very huge 4H imbalance right here. Very big 4H imbalance right here. Where is the 4H for value gap one? We can delete this. Some of these can get deleted, to be honest. 4H for value gap right here. So I do expect that to be dug into before we go short. You're going to see 4H for value gap. So I do needed to trade above equilibrium, and I would be short on the 1 hour, let's just say, from right here. Somewhere in this area. Perhaps it'll come up to this imbalance, which would be ideal. I have to put my stops 14 pips behind that high, or a few pips behind that high right there. And we'll zoom out. Let's delete that for now. We got a bunch of sell side right here. We got to zoom in a little bit. right, so price is coming up. Once I get my my kill zone pattern, my kill zone, it will be nice. So actually, deleting that, now that we're on the 1H and we plan on a 1H entry, this is actually our current dealing range right here, technically speaking. So we will be waiting on more price action. Currently, we have retracement starting. Got one of my students getting ready to catch the buy of this move before the sell. Short-term lows are taken out down here. Price has to retrace back up into the imbalance. That'll give you opportunity to enter on places like the 5-minute and things like that. Long, right? Right now we have trade idea, which actually happened right here. I do expect price to come back, and actually, no, it already did. Price came up, came back, filled the imbalance, and then had a continuation from there. So I'm gonna help them out real quick. So you have short-term low taken on the left, obviously, and we have an imbalance right here. This is the buy side of things from an intraday perspective. 5 minutes, value gap. That had already been filled. I would have personally gotten in right there at the trade idea. Currently, right there at the imbalance fill. Currently, we do have the order block right here on the 5-minute. Scoot that over and pull that down. And we're gonna change that color. And currently, this is a second entry right here, opportunity. I would have bought right here off that rejection, and my stops would have been just behind the imbalance. And you could take that all the way up here to just above the equilibrium, maybe for a 1 to 3. So that's the buy side of things that you can get into. There's an entry opportunity here, and now there's an entry opportunity here on this bullish order block. Stops just behind this this low. You could even have a little bit of a tighter stop if you wanted to get 3.5% or something like that from there. But I see a reaction to this order block right here, and they are getting ready to continue to chase these highs and these highs right here. So you could do a little scalp right here, 15 pips for 3.48%. So that's on the buy side of things from an intraday perspective that I'm kind of looking at. Pretty golden opportunity. So I always teach you guys to look for retracement down, and then eventually price will displacement higher, displacement lower. Price will eventually trade above a lower high, giving within that dealing range, give you an imbalance, which is right here, and then you can have a continuation from there. And the second entry would have been at the order block right here. That's clearly being respected. We did not have a short-term low, however, taken out quite yet. You don't necessarily need that, but it's preferred. So if I did see this low taken out here at 0.66999, that'd be golden. Possibly to come fill this imbalance again, but pretty much same area as the order block. You're not going to have very much drawdown if your stops are just behind this low. So you can't really go wrong. Perfect. So that's the idea from the long side, but I am entering on the 1H, so we'll be waiting on further confirmations. Let's get a reasonable stop loss going. Something kind of general right now. This is subject to change as price action kind of comes around. So these are 9 pips. Let me turn on my kill zones real quick. We have likely what's going to happen is going to come back up to this kill zone level. And if it does come back to the kill zone level, it'll probably fill this imbalance, or it might respect one of these order blocks right here. But I highly doubt that given the context. I think that we'll have our classic 1, 2, 3 ICT pattern, and we will be able to execute on that. And then we can put the target at a 1 to 7, like I said. Yeah, 1 to 7 is fine for a 7% gain. That's too easy. So we'll keep that in mind for that, and we'll kind of wait on that. We have a 4H for a value gap. I actually want to fine tune this a bit and go to the daily time frame and see where the daily is rejecting off of. All right, forget that I have to go back to GBP USD. Get over here. So yeah, it kind of just seems like the daily is rejecting and respecting this breaker right here, which is where the buy side liquidity was taken. That's fine. I just wanted to take a quick peek. I do not need that drawn in. So yeah, we have the 4H imbalance right here as well. I would venture to say that very likely price will come up somewhere within the premise of this very exaggerated wick right here on this bullish candle. So kind of got a lot of context and confluence surrounding that. Let's wait for price action and more price action and go from there on Swiss franc, because we still need to wait for price to come back up. So GBP USD, going back to that real quick, go drawing my levels for reference. I'd like to feel just a little bit better about that trade. For our time frame, so price is currently coming down to make an attempt at filling that imbalance down here. If it does not, I would be shocked if it did not fill that imbalance. So GBP USD custom, currently we got a level of 1.25. I expect to be broken. Where's 1.25? That's way up here. Is there any lower level than 1.25? That's 1.22. So somewhere between 1.22 and 1.25. 1.22 being way down here. That's fine. 1.28, 25, 22, and 1.8. So 2.5 is going to be the nearest level, which is way up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this bullish breaker right here as well. Right about here, I would say. Was a bullish breaker. Why was this a bullish breaker, right? Because this was the actual last down candle. Well, technically it wasn't. Technically it wasn't. I can't say that it was. Bullish breaker would be right here. I had to think for a second. Bullish breaker would be right here because this is a failed dealing range for a bearish scenario. So bullish breaker would be technically right here. Right here. So we are going to go 4H bullish breaker. And I'd rather, I would keep that the color it is. It's fine. No, actually, not lied. We're going to turn that blue. Now we're going to keep that color it is. So yeah, bullish breaker right there. And we have the context now for our bullish breaker. Because bullish breakers tend to be respected, especially when it comes to swing trading. Yeah. It's 8:09. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm getting ready to go upstairs and change some diapers. So, that's it for the day. Couple trades. I can check on gold, GBP USD, and then I need to check on Euro CAD real quick before we go to make sure that we're still in line for the limit order that's in place. If not, we're going to have to either cancel or change the limit order, adjust and adapt the limit order. 146 is the significant level there. So we have a low of 147.397. That's fine. I'll keep the limit order. If it does not trigger, I will cancel it. Swiss franc, we can wait on Euro Great British Pound. Euro Great British Pound. Not the strongest setup, to be honest. There's no predicted candles already, but it's worth a peek at least. Okay, so yeah, I am liking Euro Great British Pound price action right now. Give me one moment. Let me analyze this. Might be able to take this trade. Set a limit order or something like that. So we had so far, price coming down, and we took out the daily sell stops down to here. So we got daily sell stops taken right there. Here we had daily buy stops. Taken right here. Change the template. So we have buy side, sell side taken right there. This clearly was coming down from this breaker, this daily breaker right here. So we could draw that in. Daily breaker. So we got a breaker right there. And price continued to come down, and then we had a retracement back into premium territory, and now we are back on our way down, chasing the low at 087,276. So that being said, that's our target. That could be our swing target. It's fine. That could be our swing target for our TP. Daily sell stops. Now we have to kind of see price has been respecting this order block right here that has been pushing down this last bullish candle before the drop. I'm just going to draw on the bodies because there's a lot of body here on this candle. One day. Screw this over in time. And we had price respecting this order block right here. Price came up and tapped into this breaker block, order block combo right here, and then made another order block. And now price is rejecting this same order block right here in order to have a continuation. So this is going to be likely going to be the one responsible for the push down, considering this aggressive push down here. I expect this to continue to be respected and then continue to push down to 087,272. Dropping down to the 4 hour, we will be looking at some smaller liquidity. Swing lows were taken here. Sell side liquidity. All right, so we have sell side liquidity right here. Taken, and zooming in, do we have some buy side liquidity taken? Technically, we do have a short-term low, short-term high traded above right here. Let's go down to 1H to see if we can find some type of displacement anywhere. It's going to be on a major swing low and a major swing high. So technically, this was taken. That's displacement higher. This was taken. That's displacement lower. So we can draw that minor liquidity in that was taken in the last several hours on the 1H. And we can also 1H trade this, but if the swing is there, the swing is there. A lot of Euro and Euro news coming out soon here. We got, get out of here. We got buy side liquidity here. And we have sell side liquidity here. I always think that when things are worth looking at, taking just like a peek at, that's usually when I be killing it. So since this order block was taken as liquidity right here, this is not valid. That's displacement. That's where the displacement happened. Buy side liquidity and then sell side liquidity right here. Let me change the template here. So yeah, buy side and sell side liquidity. Right now we're kind of operating within the range of this order block. We did have, I said, displacement higher, displacement lower here. If you drop down to the 1H, it's a little bit more clear. This whole swing low was taken out by this wick right here, and then this swing highs were traded above, and that's this entire impulse move. That would be displacement. So make sure that when you qualify any displacement, it's on a major swing low and a major swing high only. And if it hasn't happened, that means it still does need to happen. So you should look to the left before you get wrecked. So far there's a lot of context. Euro Great British Pound, the significant level right now would be 088, technically speaking. So we go to 088, pretty much right here in this area, which we've already kind of came up to. 088 solid right here, and respected that area. So kind of a tough one, to be honest. We already traded above the short-term highs right here as well. And we had a rejection right here. It did not violate the premise of this bullish candle. So what I am expecting, in other words, is this bullish order block here, or this bearish one, to be respected nicely as it has. I will wait for just a little bit more price action for H. I'm going to wait for just a little bit more price action, a little bit more weakness to this candle. But once I do see a bearish candle close somewhere, then I would be goose to sell this. There's just so much context for this trade. We've traded above a short-term high and everything. I might have to just call the market execution. We could do this one for 4% and not stay in it very long. Stops just above this high right here. A lot of context for this trade. 1 to 4 right here. That's fine. I'm fine with executing this trade because of the amount of confirmations that are here. We have majority of retailers who are currently almost at a split, but 49 to 51. We have no predicted candles. They've kind of been all over the place. I would love to see retailers starting to add long positions to this before I get in, considering that they've been dropping short positions dropping their long positions for quite some time. So I would like to see retailers kind of switching to being more net long and showing some interest in actually adding long positions. So what I'll do here is, I never get these alerts, but it's worth a try. Where is the notifications? Here it goes. Symbol. Euro Great British Pound, DXM, long percent crossing up 50. Let's go 52%. Have open-ended. In browser notification. Look for shorts. Create alert. So when it shoots above anything above 50%, I should be able to get a notification. I just want to make sure that I have notification permission on this, which I do. And we'll wait on that. That's fine. I don't mind that. I don't mind waiting for retailers to show a little bit more interest in actually buying this before I drop this for 4%. Just making sure that your trade is the highest quality is really the most important factor in trading. We already have a rejection from this area, so we are looking positive. We do have a bearish liquidity shift right there as well. So that would be where my trade idea would come from, was the fact that this swing low was traded above. So we put that there. Other than that, I don't really have much. I'll keep an eye on Euro Great British Pound and call that. Euro CAD seems to still be in line so far, but I would like to see more retailers adding positions. So we have literally, you can't get any better than this. Currently, we have, right, no predicted levels, but we have, this is the live DOM, right? These are going to be limit orders by these specific institutions. And right now we have the highest limit order being 08781, which is now updated 08781. About right here. So we have these guys who have a limit order. 08782, 08780, 08780. That's fine. 08782. And we're going to copy their limit order. I'm perfectly fine with this trade. The Euro Great British Pound is, it's one of those things that I do not anticipate continuous buying pressure on Euro Great British Pound. We can look up more fundamentals, but if I do not get that and I see opposite things happening than I want, then I will be, here's the 10th for Euro Great British Pound. If you're driving near term pound to euro. So U.S. inflation nerves will drive in near term euro, and so it moves against the dollar. The overall, this is against the dollar though. I'm trying to just see it real quick. Doesn't really say much about the specific. They go specific when it comes to the currencies, but that's about it. Let me see. 07, 820. Is this still? Do they still have the same limit order? We have pattern, seasonality. Where's volume at? Here it is. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, considering that they have 08781. Let's go real quick, and I will. That's fine. I will copy this onto. What I'll do is sell limit. I will call a sell limit right where they have their own limit orders, and this is kind of like a something I've been meaning to integrate into, since this came out the other day, into my my trading. I already did that, so we have stop level, Control C. We want to risk 1% really. Stop loss is going to be here, and TP is going to be here. Command V. We got sell limit right here, and we will play that by ear. Once mine gets triggered, I will call that. I don't mind calling that. Yeah, 08782 is a lot of sell orders kind of flooding the market right now from central banks. 08783, A2 and A3 are really popular. 08782 and 08783 are really popular limit orders. So what I'll do, like I said, is I will be tentative on that. I won't place that on my regular account yet. I'd love to see more retailers selling or buying this pair, at least adding to the positions. So we'll keep an eye on that and go from there. I am not going to call that in the group yet. I would like to see 52, 53, 54% continuous retailers buying this pair and go from there. So that'll be the end of the live stream for today. It's been several hours. Several trades have been called with high probability, and I'm going to head out because I have diapers to change and other things to do today. It's a beautiful day outside, so I think I'll go out and enjoy my day. So see you guys later.